Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Pegasus Lounge. If you're new here, my name is Mason T, and today we're going to be continuing our whiteboard series lessons. So once in a while, I get a question specifically about partnerships. Should I do a partnership? Should I get into a partnership? What makes a good partnership? So I gave this a little bit of a thought, and today we're going to be covering specifically on that. But before we get into partnerships, we also have to talk about pricing models. So in our last video, we talked about how people are arguably cheated from a certain piece of education because they didn't even know that that was an option. It's just not taught in schools. It's kind of like a hidden item secret menu. You know, a lot of people don't even know that you could go to McDonald's and buy a full-size birthday cake. If you've ever been to places like In-N-Out Burger, there are things like the Flying Dutchman and Animal Fries, things that are hidden from the menu. And that's kind of what school was like when you think about math, science, history, English. But what about business literacy and financial literacy, which literally applies to everything in life, whether you get a 9-to-5 job or if you go into self-employment? So we're going to try to cover that a little bit today. So you'll see what I mean in a second. I'm going to go ahead and use two different colors here that are not, incendiary opposite of each other for a reason, okay? So let's start with this. This is you, all right? And let's draw a person, bat, 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 okay? And then there is them, okay? These faceless entities that you are working with, these evil twins, okay? And between you guys is the negotiating table. So we're going to talk about like all sorts of deals between you and them on the negotiating table here. Basically, what I would like to say is that every transaction that we perform in life is on a spectrum of like very, very short-term partnerships and then long-term partnerships. When you think of signing up for 2 years subscription plan to a cell phone or having a gym membership, all of these contracts that you sign, yeah, those are long-term partnerships actually. So the idea is that as an entrepreneur, we're always trying to make good decisions. So how do you make good decisions so that you're always part of a good deal? See, you don't always have to be in control, but you always want to be part of a good deal. So generally, when you're talking about the very simple capitalism tit-for-tat transaction, where they have an apple, you have 50 cents, they want your money, you want the apple, trade instantly, easy, it's over. But what happens in other situations, right? So when you think of, let's say, you signing up for something like Netflix, what is it that you want? You want entertainment, but how do you want the entertainment? You actually are looking for what? Continuity, right? You just want entertainment over and over again. And this is why when you sign up for Netflix, they could be a subscription plan. And that subscription plan makes sense. They constantly update their servers. So therefore, you constantly have to pay them so that they can maintain the upkeep. And that's great. But here's the thing. What they need from you and what you need from them is symbiotic, and the goals align this way. So what happens when the goal doesn't align? That is the issue. So let's say we do something like this instead, right? We have two situations. We have your regular therapist, and then we have a physical therapist. Now we have to talk about the pricing model, how we're paying to get tit for tat here. If you're going to a therapist, what is your goal? You are here for treatment. But what kind of treatment? Some people need management, and that's why they see a therapist week in, week out. But sometimes people go to a physical therapist because they're trying to look for a transformative goal. they're trying to do some kind of rehabilitation with their knee or something like that. So there's supposed to be a means to an end here. But how are you being billed on the other side? Because what is their goal? If their goal is to have you ongoing into some kind of dependency here, then their goal is for what? Continuity. But yours is for a means to an end. So now you're going to be part of a bad deal. Now, when we think about what's happening here, let me take another example. You ever hear of like contractor nightmare stories? For example, you want to have a kitchen or bathroom remodeled. So then you hire some contractors and then they tell you, yeah, we'll be done in 2 weeks and your estimate is like $24,000. I'm just making stuff up right now. So what ends up happening? Well, you're kind of at the mercy of the contractor to say what they do and then do what they say in this type of pricing model. And then sometimes it gets into a nightmare situation because of bad estimations or some price goes up, just things, get in the way. Like they had some people who got sick or couldn't show up. Now they're behind schedule, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's costing you more money. And your goal, again, right, was what? To complete your transaction. You want to complete the project. What's the goal of the contractor? The contractor's goal is actually not really to complete your contract. The contractor, they want what? They want work. They want consistent work, don't they? And that's why, because the incentives are not quite aligned, this kind of sort of happens sometimes. And that's where you get these nightmare stories. So I want you guys to think about what would be the solution to this. How can we change what the pricing model is when you went to them, said, hey, I want my bathroom remodeled, and then they said that they'll do it for $24,000, right, over the course of 3 weeks. Okay? That's the deal that they gave you. So what can we do about this to change that? So we're going to come back to this in a second. Let's suppose the deal is a little bit different here. You are now a home builder, right? Like America Large home builder, such as like a Richmond or a Pulte or maybe like a D.R. Horton or something, if you guys have heard of it. So the thing is this, right? You want your projects complete, but when they use these contractors, they don't actually have nightmare stories. Everything is fine. And then they get, job done after job done after job done. Why? Why is that? It's because they want continuous work. But as a home builder, they have what? They have continuous projects to give them. So they're not interested in just doing this. They want the contract of doing the next one, the next one, the next one. And if you want the next one, you better do this one good, and then case by case basis, and then we keep ongoing from there. So now the incentives and the goals and the outcomes, they all align. And that's why the home builder, they don't get screwed. So now when we come back and we think about how to renegotiate this deal on the table, what would be the solution? The solution would for you to go ahead and make your counter offer, because this is business. You could open your mouth. You don't have to just accept their $24,000 over the course of 3 weeks. So what you can do is this: ask them for a breakdown of the pricing. So what happens is that they're working with a $20K budget, and they want to make 20% on the labor here. So what's 20% of 20K, guys? Quick. 4K, right? So $4,000 is what they make. So once you have this pricing structure here, we could start talking terms. I could go ahead and sweeten the deal for them and then say something like this. Look, if I allow this thing to happen, it could turn into a nightmare. And then this $24,000 could probably go into $30,000, and more time has gone by as they run up my bill. You've heard those nightmare stories all the time. But now what I could do is that I could tell them, listen, I will give you a bonus $2,000 if you could get this done instead of the 21 days, right? Have it done in 17 days. And that's your incentive to do it. Now, them and you have similar goals because your goal is to finish the project. And their goal is also to finish the project quickly because they want this bonus. This is what I mean by having the right pricing model in order to have a better partnership, because the incentives will change all the behaviors out there. So when we talk about what Pegasus Blueprint is and how I help people with importing things, yes, I give people 3 paths forward. You could go ahead and deal with places like Alibaba and other factories yourself. But then what happens is what? Whatever the price that you negotiated at, right? You're also at the mercy of them to act in what? Good faith. When you think about the relationship between the home builder and the contractor, they don't need good faith. I have more jobs. They want the jobs. So we're not going to screw each other. Otherwise, everybody is going to miss out, right? So it becomes everybody wins or everybody loses. So they're definitely going to choose everybody wins. So oftentimes I tell people that, look, if you go at it yourself, you'll be under good faith. Or you could hire an agent, a sourcing agent, to be with you on your side. So now you are negotiating with your sourcing agent and your goals are aligned because you're both on this side of the table dealing with them. And your sourcing agent, their goal is to make sure that you make money. Because if you don't make money, there is no ongoing orders. So when I used to deal directly with a factory, a lot of times people would say to me that, look, if you deal with a factory, they'll backdoor your item, et cetera, all that stuff. So you're always at risk, you're always in danger. Right. But when I used to deal with the factory directly, I would give them one item that I wanted to do. And then I would go sell that item. And then once it picks up and I'm more successful, then I would increase my order. I would not only just increase my order, I would also have a second item that I want to do. And then from there, there's another item that gets increased in volume. And then I also have a third item I want to produce. And then over time, that also increases in volume. So what happens to their incentive versus what I need done? Right. They want the next purchase order and the next purchase order. So the reason why I don't get cheated and I don't have to trust them is because I know that our goals are aligned, and that produces better partnerships. So whether you are hiring people in your operation or you're doing a deal with somebody, what do you want to do? You want to make sure that the setup between you guys, the goals are aligned so that you create something symbiotic. Because if you don't create something symbiotic, then over time, the relationship is going to go sideways. So when you hire a sourcing agent, When you work with me directly on Pegasus Blueprint, then what happens? There is a symbiotic relationship because it's my job to take care of your orders, to convey to them exactly what you want to purchase, to hold them to their production lead times, and to make sure that their quality control is perfect. And also all of the logistics that ships over to you. It is also my job to think like you when negotiating with them, so that when I argue different kinds of terms and then change the pricing model so that I make their goals also align with our goals, we all benefit in the long run. This is how you make good decisions and then always be part of a good deal so that when you move forward, you grow. So I hope that helps people understand that when you have a partnership with someone and you're thinking about whether or not you should get into this, whether you're going to be signing a contract, whether you're going to be working with somebody, you have to put yourselves in their shoes and think about what their goals are. So if two people come in and then they're doing the exact same thing, like they're just doing shared work, right? And what happens is that one person might think that the other person is not pulling their weight. I'm doing all the heavy lifting and you're doing next to nothing. So there could be resentment over here, and that's not going to be very good. But if the work between them in the partnership is segmented in a way where things are in sequence of each other, right? Things have to be in sequence of each other. So if this was something as simple as sourcing, processing, listing, shipping within resellers, right? So this person handles the sourcing and the processing. This person handles the listing and the shipping. So this person has to do these two. This person has to do these two so that they can both, get the money at the end. Otherwise, if they stop, you don't get anything. If he stops, you don't get anything. And plus, everybody is already, very clear what the segmented work is so that there's no resentment and everybody is playing their part. So this creates that symbiotic relationship. This is how you need to think about what's happening in your operation when you're working with other people, when you're taking on partners, or you're signing deals, or you're contracting to other people, so that you're always making good decisions and being part of a good deal. Anyways, guys, that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you learned something, please consider subscribing. As always, see you guys in the next. Take care.